In the declassified US military footage of the atomic bombs in 1945, I noticed something remarkable in the background in Hiroshima. The city's streetcars are running. In fact, just 3 days after the bomb, on August 9th, the Hiroden streetcar was back online, serving passengers through the ruins of the city. And to this day, those particular trams known as Hibakudensha, or atomic bomb streetcars, are now serving the great-grandchildren of Hiroshima residents, riding with a completely different view. We'll look inside car 651 and ride car 653 in its original blue and white. We'll also meet the then 14-year-old conductor of the A-bomb streetcar, who's now 92, her experience surviving the bomb and its aftermath, and experience riding one of those historic Hiroshima streetcars.
Only in Japan.
The modern story of Hiroshima is well known. B-29 Enola Gay dropping a 4,400 kilogram atomic bomb at 8:15 a.m., exploding at 400 meters over the city, 15 kilotons of TNT vaporizing much around the hypocenter, leaving the city in utter ruins 7 kilometers or 4 miles away. So when I learned that despite the horror and devastation around the city center, Hiroden, the streetcar company, went back to work clearing the tracks, getting substation power back online, repairing a few cars to run the line a few stations near the hypocenter. An amazing story. But when I realized that those same A-bomb trams from 1945 are still in operation today, shuttling people around the same spots, I wanted to learn more and ride it myself. This is our ride. Let's go on aboard. Wow. So they've kept this train preserved like it was back in 1945. I really love this. Streetcar 653 is one of 5 in the 650 series built in 1942. Much of the interior has been replaced in a way to reflect the original. Some things are original, like the steel frame of the car. Some enhancements have been made, like air conditioning and lights and better signage outside. After all these years, it's still a comfortable ride. We'll stop into the garage soon to learn more about the streetcar as we continue on this adventure to the A-bomb dome and hypocenter. This is a real special treat because this is the exact same sound, for example, that they had back in the 1940s. The feel of it, in fact, even the smell with the wood paneling. It's well done. This tram is currently used as part of a tour to teach students and international visitors about the atomic bombing. Learning about it while riding one of the trains from the period is unforgettable. You know, when you think about it, we're looking out of the window like 80 years after the war. The view's completely different. Hiroshima has really evolved as a city, and you can see in the images from then and now, it's almost unrecognizable. Riding streetcars is a great way to see the city, but after August 6, 1945, the view was like this. Toppled buildings, burnt fields, rubble and dirt. You can see clear across Hiroshima to the hills and sea. Today, Hiroshima is a bustling city of 1.2 million people, Hiroden serving 550,000 passengers annually. Before we go any further and learn more about this train, I want to take you back to 1945, where a then 14-year-old girl was a conductor of one of the trains that started up on August 9th. This is Sasaguchi-san, a streetcar conductor who survived the atomic bombing. 14 years old at the time, she's now 92 and shared her story. Ah, かわいい。
ね、まだ14歳ですか。
ほとんど女性ですね。
女性です。
うん。
男子はね、あの当時はみんな戦争に行っていなかったからね。
I asked her about the day of the bomb, what her experience was like.
今日はね、朝の寮で朝の食事しよった最中だったんですよ。8時半でしたよね、ピカが落ちたのはね。でしばらくは、茶碗をこう食べよったらピカッと光ってパッと火の手が上がって、ね、気がついた時にはもう座の下の方へひっくり返っとって気がついたら腰が痛くて気がついたら下に味噌汁とか茶碗とか転げとったんですよ。で見たら入り口の方で2人ぐらい助けて言いながら出よったからね。私周り見たら誰もいないから私が一番最後まで後ろ取ったんでしょうよ。で出て行ったらみんなが泣きよるのが気がついて、それで部屋に入っていったらあちこちガタガタしよって、で救急袋があったのをね、大事なものをそこを入れとったんですけど、それをだけ持ってで部屋の友達と一緒にこの中にもね、この人なんだけどね、一緒にね、なんか避難してずっと歩いていったんですけどね、汽車車から三木橋いうとこがあるんですよ。三木橋まで歩いていったらやけどした人がこういうの手をしてね、いっぱい列をなして歩いてこられたのを見て、外におった人はやけどしとったんじゃねえって思いながら一緒に歩いて。
This is a photo of Miyuki Bridge, the longest in Hiroshima at the time. A cruel scene a few hours after the bomb. Mostly kids with burns treated with cooking oil, all that could be found at the Ujina police station. Sasaguchi-san continued on to the sister school nearby.
でそこまで行ったんですけどね、あったら先生がおられて、だから朝から夕方まで歩いてったんですよ。焼け野原の中をね、ずっとおっちゃったけどね、私らそういうことはあんまりしなかったんですけど、なかったからね、助かったけどね。で歩く途中にね、姉さんらにね、姉さんじゃない友達にね、姉さん知らん言うて、みんな知らんほんで姉さんどうしたのかな思って。
This is her sister, Kikuko, 2 years older. They found each other at the other school's auditorium, safe.
姉さんは元気だったんだ思って、2人で喜び合って、その晩は私ら元気な方だったからね、怪我をした人のね面倒を見たりしてね、見たんですけどね、面倒見ても朝起きたら隣におっちゃった人が死んどっちゃったりね、怪我やけどかなんかねされたまんま。
In the 16mm film taken 2 months after the bombing by US military, you can see the burnt fields and destruction Sasaguchi-san walked through in the city that day and months to follow. Hiroshima Station, one of the hubs of the streetcar, was 2.4 kilometers, a mile and a half, from the hypocenter, but it didn't take much time for the city streetcar to get back running. With very limited staff, Sasaguchi-san told me about the day she was asked to go to work, about 72 hours after the devastating atomic bomb.
でそこで 2,3 日過ごしたんかね。そしたら明日から電車が走るからって先生が言われてね。で私は旧姓が岡言うんですよね。岡明日から電車が走るけ乗ってくれんかって先生に言われてね。いいですよ言ったら。ほんで濃いところね、濃いから3つ駅の多分福島町天満町土橋ぐらいまでね 行ったり来たりの車掌したと思うんですよ。
The route from Nishi Hiroshima to Dobashi Station isn't very long, but the sight of the streetcar running gave the city a lot of hope that things could and would get better. Dobashi Station opened again on August 19th. This video taken in March 1946 shows Aioi Avenue and Tokaimachi Station right after Dobashi Station. Sasaguchi-san would have seen something similar to this out the window. This stretch of road runs all the way to Aioi Bridge and the A-bomb Dome to the far right. Dobashi Station is about 750 meters from the hypocenter and A-bomb Dome. Quite extraordinary this part of the line was running again so soon. Car 653 was repaired and up and running 4 months after extensive repair work in the garage. Let's head over there now. This is the Hiroden headquarters. The whole fleet of streetcars are in front of us. Yeah, this is open from 9 to 6 p.m. daily. You can get a glimpse of a lot of historical streetcars that are both no longer and still in service in this lot. We're going to go see one of them, car 651, another of the 650 series, which has a story of its own. The history of this car is written behind the driver. It's still used in the morning commute. So this streetcar, 651, was 700 meters away from the hypocenter. The driver and 89 passengers lost their lives on that day. Car 651 started service around Hiroshima in 1942. Here is a photo of car 651 following the bomb, pushed off the tracks, burned out, only the steel frame visible. This is still running, which is an incredible feat.
で、いやこの650が一番何が違うのって言われると、やっぱりこれ木を使ってるんですよね。はい。前面に。だけど、これ外すとさっき言ったように、鉄骨になります。だけど車内で木を使っているのはこの電車のともうワンマン機器って言っておりますよっていう時にピッと鳴らせばつく。
It's been maintained very well over the years. Even 80 years after its release, it is still a comfortable ride.
で、被害が少なかったとこもあると思います。でも、皆さんが原爆にあったらもうこの町中が全部焼けちゃったと思うんですけど、場所によっては、電車がただ、残ったりとかしてますので、そういう電車を、もうこっちの車庫に持ってきて、でも部品まだあったものを修理しているという。で、ひどいになるとやっぱり数ヶ月かかっています。
You have to notice the floor and what's underneath too. The engine has been replaced with similar parts. These non-digital trains are actually much easier to repair than the newer models, but steel doesn't last forever. One day it will have to be retired. The streetcar used to require 2 staff members, the driver and the conductor, to issue and check tickets, but with digital IC cards now, the operation is handled by just one driver. It seems like Hiroden could easily replace these with newer trains, but there's a great love for them in the city and within the company.
会社にとってこの列車とはめっちゃ大事。そうですね、特別な電車だとは思います。だからなかなか、じゃあお役御免というのはなかなかまだいかないんではないかなと。だから100年後もしかしたらしてもしかしたらそれか博物館によるか博物館かもしれないけど。
I got a chance to take a look under the streetcar. It is normally serviced once a week, and I was surprised at the good condition of the parts.
こっち行きましょうか。どうぞ。これが台車装置です。これが2つついてボギー車、なるべく大きな車両を、カーブとかで動かしやすいように1個ずつ台車がついてます。で、
やっぱり3日間後早いよね。
3日後は早いですよね。
チームワーク。
チームワークどうなんかな、やっぱり昔のやっぱり意地というかそういうプライドがあったんではないかなと、少しでも早く動かしたいという人が動けばね、少しでも良くなるんで。
ヒロデにやっぱりその考え方変わらなかったでしょ。毎日行かなければならないですよね。
そうですね。で3日後っていうと本当にね、僕の先輩の話が聞いたのは、ここで被爆して気づくと大野っていう宮島のまだ向こう側で目覚めたという。だからここに本当にいた、とか、直してた当時整備をしてた人本当に何人いたのかなという。それで今の、電車直したし線路も直して走らせたのはすごいと思います。確かに。
The staff healthy enough to go back to work did so, clearing the rails, repairing the trains and substations. And for a conductor, that typically means issuing tickets, which cost less than 1 yen back then.
福島町へ降りようとした人が、お金を一生懸命探しよった電車だから、ああ今日はお金いりませんよ言ったら喜んでね、ありがとうございますありがとうございますって言いながら降りちゃったのをね、覚えてますけど。
I asked Sasaguchi-san about what she saw outside the window in Hiroshima in those days.
そうですね。まあ焼け野原ですよね。見た感じがね、みんな。
そう。
今までは建物がいっぱいあったのにね。焼け野原の中をね。
The streetcar was running through a vastly different city. And now the street is thriving. The streets are full of color and life. Visitors are coming from all over the world. There are many ways to experience how the city of Hiroshima was impacted by the bomb, but seeing things that remain from 1945, I got a tour of one of those things right next to the Peace Museum. Trees. There are so many trees that survived the blast before the shock, fire, and intense heat. But they remain scarred and a living symbol of the events of August 6, 1945. There's an app to track them all around the hypocenter radius. The Honkawa Elementary School next to the Peace Park also stayed intact following the bomb. It's now a museum on the school grounds, which visitors can go in and see. The Peace Museum is also a must-visit, newly renovated in 2019 with a more modern layout. It lays out the event and days that followed in extraordinary detail. The Genbaku Dome, known as the A-bomb dome, is the most famous reminder of that day. It's been preserved like the day the bomb was dropped. You can see the cracks and rubble, twisted metal. The dome above is warped, bent with the direction of the blast, away from the hypocenter, just a couple of 100 meters away. When I lived here many years ago, I often sat here in the morning and evening, thinking about all sorts of things. All right, we're coming up on the final stop, Genbaku Dome. For streetcar 653, the route for the special tour ended here, in front of the A-bomb dome. The train built in 1942 continues to run the city, serving as a living witness to the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. The memory of those lost in Hiroshima's past lives on every time the streetcar rolls through the city.
長いことね。
長いよね。
長いことはよく走ってるなと思いますよね。
やっぱり広島強いですよね。
そうですね。
そ
電車はね、電鉄さんはね、頑張っとってよね。
みんなの心も強いですよ。
そうでしょうね。
I think that those stories need to be told to the next generation. People who come to visit Hiroshima can learn about it and pass those stories on. One of the core principles, I think, of the city of Hiroshima is to, what used to be pray for peace and now also to make peace, to bring peace through the understanding of what happened here. We have a lot of symbols like the Genbaku Dome, and now the Hibaku Resha, which has great symbolism for us who live here. Now that you've seen this episode, I hope for you too. Mata ne.